Good Sunday afternoon, friends and family. So, it's been another 2 weeks, I believe, or maybe even more, since the last time I recorded a video. The last time I recorded a video, it was to teach you guys stretches, to stretch the low back and hip region, um, to regain your flexibility and range of motion in the lumbar spine and in the pelvic area as well. So I promised that the next time I record a video, it will be to show you exercises how to strengthen your your core and your back muscles. So, what is the core? I believe I mentioned that these are the deep abdominal muscles that sit on the front of your vertebral column, and that is the bones in your low back. So, if this is your vertebral column, your deep abdominal muscle sits on the front of it, and then that is your deep abdominal muscles, and then you have the superficial abdominal muscles. These are the muscles that that are quite visible or obvious when you have a six-pack abs, okay, and you see the ripples in your abdomen, and these are the rectus abdominis muscles. And the deep abdominal muscles are just the deep abdominals, are the TA, transverse abdominal muscles, and they sit more in the behind the superficial abdominal muscles and more horizontal. So when you when you tuck your tummy, which is you visualize pulling your belly button, pull it in with a string, okay, and visualize it. Pull your belly button, okay, in Tagalog, pusod, pusod, and also in Bisaya, pusod. Uh, Pull it with the string to your back, okay? So if you pull it in, then you feel the muscles here, which is like right across here, from one side of your pelvis to the other side, uh, tighten up. And that is the deep abdominal muscles or transverse abdominals. And the rectus abdominis muscles are the ones that are more vertical, okay, from here to here. And then so I will show you some exercises to strengthen the deep abdominal muscles first, because we need to strengthen your spine, and that tends to strengthen your spine more than the superficials. And also, I will show you how to strengthen the obliques. Okay, so right here, the muscles on the flank, so each side, and then also the muscles right along your spine in the back, okay? So right along here, called erector spinae muscles, and also multifidus muscles, which are responsible for rotating, okay? These are the muscles that we're gonna target today, and I will start with it's actually a combination, but I'll make it as simple as possible. Okay. So transverse abdominal activation or contraction. Okay. So basically, like I said, you're going to tighten your belly button, and you can bend your knees too. So if you have a little bit of discomfort in your low back, bend your knees, and that takes the slack off your back and puts your back flatter against the mat or the bed, wherever you're lying down on. So with your imagination, pull that belly button in. Okay, you're not pushing it in, just actively pulling. And another way to visualize this is by imagining that you're squeezing a lemon with your tummy and your back. So you're squeezing a lemon. In Tagalog or Bisaya, puga. Pinupuga yung lemon or calamansi in Filipino. Okay, so pull it in and you will feel it here, but you will also feel it there. So pull it in to however far in or however much effort you can do it with, and hold it in for 10 counts. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then relax. Okay. And make sure that your back is not arching or not lifting off of the mat or the bed. Make sure it's flat. You're pressing your tummy, okay, and your back. And this is where you're combining pelvic tilts, posterior pelvic tilts, okay? So that way, and you're tightening your tummy at the same time, okay? All right? Hold it in, 1, but you don't hold your breath, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay? 10-second hold. Let's do 3 more. So pull the belly button in, squeeze that lemon with your tummy and your back together, and then press your back against the mat or the bed. Okay? Hold it for 10 seconds, but you're breathing. And when you count loud, you know you're breathing. So count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, that's 4. One more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's 5. All right. So that's 5 repetitions of the posterior pelvic tilt and transverse abdominal contraction or activation. Okay. So the next one we're going to do, I'm going to come in closer, a little bit closer. The next thing we're going to do is called bridging. Okay, bridging strengthens the butt cheek muscles and your back muscles. So I like exercises that are combination exercises, so you're not just strengthening one thing, um, especially if you don't have time, you're working. You would want to combine exercises so you're targeting several muscle groups at the same time. So, and if this one exercise targets 2 or 3, even better. So, bridging will target the low back and the back of the hips, which we don't target a whole lot when you go to the gym. Okay, so who lies down on the gym? Hardly anybody does. So, this is probably best done at home, and this is this exercise. Okay. And you just hold it if you can. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. That's 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if you feel, you would feel it here, your gluteus maximus muscle. Okay. 2 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. 1 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And I'll show you how you can progress this exercise by adding a band. And I have a blue band here. You can start with yellow, whatever is the most resistive band that you can find that you can tolerate. That's not too much for you. If you feel muscles ripping, you're cracking the whole time, it's highly uncomfortable. That's probably too much resistance. But you start out with what you can tolerate moderately. Okay, so the wider the band, the looser it is, and you can tighten it. Okay, make it harder. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can rest longer if you need to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that was the bridging. The next one is supine. Supine is when you lie flat on your back. Supine or lying down march. Okay, so you can march, but you maintain that first position, which is keeping your back flat and your tummy engaged or contracted the whole time you're marching. Okay, so you can do that. Okay, you don't have to pull it like this, just like 90-degree angle. 1, and that's also 1, 2, 2. Okay, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5. Okay, and once again, I'll show you a progression of the supine march using bands. Tie the band. Okay, all right. Starting position. Keep your back flat against the floor or the mat. Tighten that tummy slightly. Not full effort, just whatever is comfortable effort, okay? And then you march. That's 1. That's also 1. That's 2. That's also 2. 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5. All right. Okay. So you've learned 3 exercises so far. Okay. Now let's do the obliques. Okay. The obliques can be done or targeted by getting on your side. Okay. And there's another way you could do like, okay, you could do this. Okay. There's several ways to strengthen your obliques. Right. Just like lateral crunches. Okay. And the other way is lateral planks, modified because this is full planks with your legs straight, but this is modified to start with. If you're just a beginner, okay, and you can really feel muscles here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, make sure your elbow is in line with the shoulder, and you're not doing that. You're not doing that, and you're not doing that. Line it up, okay? Good posture, okay? Not slouching, and you're not doing that. okay, as much as possible. But if you really need help with your other arm, do so. If you have a shoulder problem, don't do this, okay? Just do that lateral or oblique crunches that I showed you before this one. Okay, so this is with, that's two, and this is with help. That's three, okay, four, and five. All right, and you do the other side. That's one, that's two, three, four, five. So I can't do it too much on this side because my, as I mentioned before, I have spurs in my left shoulder. So you don't want to overdo this if you have any shoulder, elbow problems, okay? Because you don't want to re-injure these joints or these body parts while you're trying to strengthen. So if these hurt you, then do the oblique crunches that I showed you. Okay. And make sure when you do your oblique crunches that you're not pulling on your neck. You are supporting your neck. Okay. You're not pulling. Just support it. Okay. Cross your fingers and just do that. Okay. You're using your abs, your muscles, not your hands to pull your upper body up. Okay. That's one. Okay. All right. So the neck and the arms are just basically passive, just supporting your neck. You're not pulling, right? So you're doing like diagonal direction, okay? Like your shoulder, opposite shoulder, trying to approximate your knee, all right? So those are your oblique and the lateral planks. And those are 4 exercises so far. And I'm going to show you the next one with the variation or progression. So you can get a pillow, okay? You get this. This is my daughter's room. Let me just borrow her pillow. Okay. And this targets the multifidus and erector spinae, okay? Because you're like swimming on this one, okay? So you're lifting the opposite, the arm and the opposite leg at the same time, but make sure this area here is not arching too far back, okay? You don't want too much arching, okay? You don't want to strain your lumbar spine. You just want to lift, okay? Just lift enough, contract those muscles to lift the thigh, okay? Not like just lifting your leg and lower leg below the knee and your foot. Okay, so okay, so you put your pillow right under your pelvis and abdomen. Okay, right, and then you're doing one arm, opposite leg, and you can hold that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if your neck hurts when you do this, you can just get a towel and support your forehead. Okay, and you can just keep your head down the whole time. Okay. 3, 4, 5. Okay? All right. So that's the easier way, right? And then you can modify, progress this exercise. By the way, this is called the alternating upper and lower extremity lift. Okay. Now this one has a more specific, the progression has a more specific name or term for it. It's called bird dog. I guess going to the different positions make you look like you're a bird, and then the next you look like a dog. Okay. So make sure your back is flat. Okay. Your tummy is tucked in. Okay. You're not sagging. Okay. So you're still into the posterior pelvic position, in the quadruped position, and your shoulder, elbow, and wrist are lined up. Your hip, your hip and knees are lined up. Okay. And you're going to raise one arm, okay, and opposite leg. And you don't really raise it high, okay? So just like that, just extend your limbs, okay? Right? Okay. And you count that 1 and 1, 2 and 2, 3 and 3. And you don't look up. Keep your head neutral. Okay. 3, 4, 4, 5, 5. Okay. So, and you can increase with everything that I've taught you so far with any exercise, excluding the stretches. You don't really increase the repetitions for the stretches. You increase the hold times for the stretches up to 30 seconds. And you can only do 2 or 3. You don't have to do more than that. But the strengthening, you increase not the hold times, but the repetition. Okay, so you can do 5-second hold, but you can do 30. Okay, and how do you progress that last one? I don't have any ankle weights or wrist weights. So you have like cuff weights that you can strap with Velcro to your wrists and your ankles. Okay, and that's how you can progress that. And when you're doing that position, a quadruped, okay, make sure that you're not twisting, you know, not like that and like that. Okay, you're not tipping yourself side to side. You're making sure that your back remains neutral or flat. Imagine your back is a table and you have a pitcher of water or a glass of water and you don't want to tip it or spill it. Okay, so you need to keep your back, and that's the key, to keep your back well maintained and stable while you're doing your arm and leg movements. And that's how you should try to move. So I don't know if we mentioned not just posture, but activity modification. If you have back problems, for example, if you don't have back problems, you could still use this. So, so when you do any activities, like for example, you are standing, right? Because I think I taught you how to maintain a good posture, right? Okay. But when you are standing, make sure make sure that you are not slouching. Okay? Make sure tummy is tucked in. So tucking your chin, head held high, like there is a string pulling your head high, shoulder blades back. Okay, chest out. Okay, right? And when you're standing for a prolonged period of time, you can actually put your foot on a stool. Okay, let me see. Okay, don't really have a stool. I have a box. Let's just say this box is the stool. Okay. When you're cutting up veggies or preparing for a meal, you're cooking, you can get a stool, put one foot on top in front of the kitchen counter or steering in front of the stove or the other. And you can do this when you're washing dishes. Or when you're washing dishes, you can open the cabinet under the sink and put one foot in or the other. Okay? And that's how you can take pressure off your back for prolonged standing. Now, when you're lifting, for example, you're lifting this box and it's pretty light, okay? Kind of put it close to something. You can hold on to that sturdy something, pick up the box. Stick one leg out, especially if that leg is like hurting or has a little bit of numbness or tingling. You stick that leg out. Okay, pick it up like this or like this. Okay, this is called the gopher's lift. But there's nothing to hold on to, and this is actually a bit heavier. Then you can straddle it, get up close, squat down. Okay, don't bend to pick it up. That will strain your back big time. Okay, so you make sure you squat down. Okay, to put it down or to pick it back up, you squat down. Okay, even if it's your kid, you squat down. Okay, or sit down, bring the kid close to you, scoop them up, and stand up. Okay, don't be doing that. All right, and when you're carrying the baby, there are I have a coworker who I was amazed at all the technology and carrying babies. But there is this thing, it's like a belt bag, but it's like a cushion, a seat with the bag beneath it. And you could kind of sit the baby on top of that cushion. So you're not doing that because that's not good for your back. I've done that when I was cooking and carrying my baby. Okay, women do that a lot. But now there is a bag with a cushion, a seat for the baby. Okay, and you don't have to do that. Okay, so carrying a baby, use that. Find that kind of bag, or otherwise carry the baby close to you. Get one of those carriers, where you could strap them close to you, facing you. I prefer that than the ones on your back because that tends to kind of make you do that. But at least the ones in front make you kind of hold your posture up because then you don't want to be like this with the baby in front of you, okay? Because you'll be knocking your chin on that baby's head. So then the other things, if you're vacuuming, for example, okay, don't be doing this, okay? You need to keep your posture straight and just move with that vacuum. If you need to get under the table, kind of do that. Okay, so your objective is to keep your back in neutral position, not in slouch position. Even when you're doing laundry, um, front loading laundry, make you want to bend, right? How about get a stool, a footstool, and you can sit down on that stool and load. Get your basket down here and load. And then when you unload, get your basket, sit down, unload to the basket, and then kind of turn still sitting down and load the dryer. Now, if you have a top loading washing machine like I do now, okay, so you're going to really reach deep in there. Mine's pretty deep. So I lean on my washing machine, I lean on it, stick my leg out, get all my laundry. Okay. And I tend to just load my dryer, put my laundry in there and do that. But I try to also get a footstool. That way I could load all my laundry. I put all my wet laundry onto the basket, laundry basket. Okay. I'm like leaning on the washing machine. All my laundry's in the basket. And I have a front loading dryer, which is the only thing you have. You don't really have top loading dryers. And then you sit down on that stool, get your basket, and load the dryer. And you unload the dryer the same way. Okay. And you pretty much, if you have a dishwasher, here in America, majority of people have dishwashers. You can do that to get a stool. But if you don't want to get a stool, then you maintain that posture. Okay. Get that plate. Okay. Load, load. Okay. Right. Like a dance step. Okay. And you unload the same way. Don't be doing that. Same thing with putting things in the oven and taking them out. Always maintain good posture. Always be aware, okay, how am I going to do this activity, this chore, while maintaining my back and not slouching? Okay, gardening as well. Don't be pulling weeds like this, which I find myself doing the first few times. And then, oh, I have to get a stool. So then I get a stool, or you get one of those knee pads, just be kneeling or doing this, okay? Sitting on your pad while you pull weeds. Okay, so those are just the things um, that you need to think about. Modify your activity if these things are become painful as you do more of it, which I think that everybody will go through it as we get older. If you don't listen to your body and just keep doing the activity over and over again, and you just complain, oh, my back hurts, but I had to do this. There is a way you can modify to do things around the house without hurting your back. And you listen to your body. If it hurts, you stop. Okay. Um, reposition yourself. Your body is getting tired of that position. Like I was wrapping gifts yesterday and I was um sitting down on a stool, and pretty soon my butt hurt because the stool was not cushioned. So then I took the stool out and I just squatted on the floor and then started um to finish the wrapping that way. So listen to your body. Don't push through the pain. Some things you can push through, but if it's pain is not really good. You really should um, maintain and think of ways that you could actually maintain a neutral posture, if not 100% of the time, then majority of the time. Okay. So that's all for today. It's a pretty long video, and I will see you next time, probably after the holidays, after New Year's. And we will learn how to advance the strengthening, still with bands or and or um, weights and I have my kettlebells. And I'll show you how to do that. So I hope you learned a lot from today. Post any comments, send me questions or how to do this, how to do that. If you hit the snag, encountered a problem with doing the exercise. And if one exercise does not work, if it hurts, especially if your pain is more advanced, you have spurs in your back, you have arthritis in your back, you have degeneration of your discs there, and your bone is sitting on top of bone. It's really hard to rehabilitate, and it's really hard to get rid of pain without medication, and that's where your doctor comes in. You might have to take some medication. Just make sure it's not knocking you out. It's probably too much, and you can barely do anything throughout the day. Um, there will be pain because maybe you've done a lot of things that were quite manually intensive, labor intensive type of job. And now that you're retired, you're not doing them, but you're feeling it. It does come back to haunt you. If you have any accidents whatsoever, it will do that as well. So, but that doesn't mean that there's nothing you can do. You are going to be in pain regardless whether you move or not. So your muscles, if you don't exercise, you say, oh, you're moving, I try to be active. Once again, activity is not the same as exercise. Exercise is where you target each muscle group and strengthen them so you can do things, activities for a prolonged period of time, for a longer period of time, repetitively, without it causing too much pain or strain. But you got to ease into it. If these exercises don't work for you, then you probably need to go see, ask the doctor to refer you to a physical therapist, and that physical therapist can monitor your response to the exercises and progress you slower. So it needs to be progressed slowly, if especially if you've been sedentary for a while now, if you have weight problems. So your muscles just need to wake up, but it needs to be awakened gradually, not quickly. Okay. So find your a good physical therapist who will not push you too hard. Okay. Um, the saying that goes, no pain, no gain, only works to a certain extent. Okay, we should not be drill sergeants. Okay, you're not in the military, so we need to progress you slowly and do something about the pain. Maybe massage, maybe try some heat, some cold, electrical stimulation, ultrasound, dry needling, whatever they have at their disposal. Which we have all that in our clinic here where I work. So okay, till next time. I've already talked too much. And have a very Merry Christmas if you get to watch this before Christmas. And a happy and bountiful New Year. Right. Take care, everyone. Bye. Salamat.